Chancellor Olaf Scholz's leadership shines particularly as he has spearheaded efforts to fortify European unity. His clear and strategic vision is an example not only to his European counterparts, but to countries around the world. As a leader who places diplomacy and dialogue at the forefront, Chancellor Olaf Scholz has emerged as a beacon of hope. His unwavering commitment to creating peace and confronting threats to global democracy cements his legacy as a remarkable global citizen and a great leader for our times. The Atlantic Council is pleased to honor him for his efforts tonight.
Please welcome World Trade Organization Director General, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Good evening, everyone. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. I would like to thank John Rogers, Fred Kempe, and the Atlantic Council for giving me the honor and the opportunity to present the 2023 Global Citizen Award to Chancellor Olaf Scholz of Germany. Let me take a moment to recognize and congratulate this year's other awardees: Prime Minister Kishida, U.S. Secretary Treasury Janet Yellen, a good friend, Victor Xu, and President Zelensky. I'm really delighted to say a few words about Chancellor Scholz, a giant in Germany and Europe who is doing so much to foster the international cooperation and solidarity we need to meet challenges, even as he remains clear-eyed about the threats that confront global peace and security. Chancellor Scholz has been on the global stage for years, with earlier stints as finance minister and labor minister. His passion for social justice started as early as when he was 17 and has never wavered. This passion has infused his political career and underpinned his achievements. His understanding of the complexities that shape our interconnected world was shaped by his roots in Hamburg, a port city open to the world, but also one where heavy industries have struggled with economic transition. Chancellor Scholz is a powerful advocate for global trade that is open, free, and fair. But when there are dislocations, he also knows how and when to complement open markets with domestic policies that provide appropriate safety nets to cushion workers and enable them to take advantage of new opportunities. His commitment to fostering a more equitable global economic framework is visible in the instrumental role he plays in the G7 and G20, advocating for a global minimum tax for multinational corporations and championing digital taxation. Chancellor Scholz is a great advocate for getting the world to net zero carbon emissions by 2050 or earlier. His concept of a climate club or alliance has broken new ground in finding ways to incentivize more economies at different levels of development to collectively take ambitious climate action that protects our planet. Chancellor Scholz's strong support for developing nations stands as a testament to his commitment to equity and inclusivity. He has been a leading voice in calling for global resilience through the diversification of global production networks for key goods by bringing in countries on the margins of global markets, increasing the production of fertilizer or rare earths and minerals in developing countries, and empowering those nations to add value to these commodities instead of exporting unprocessed raw materials would promote development and job creation while making global supplies more resilient to climate or geopolitical shocks. This is what we call a reimagined globalization or re-globalization at the WTO, a word I want all of you to take away with you tonight. I'm personally inspired by Chancellor Scholz's dedication to fostering greater global understanding in a world that seems increasingly and frighteningly divided. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with the utmost admiration and respect that we welcome Chancellor Scholz here tonight and present him this year's Global Citizens Award. Thank you.
President Zelensky, Prime Minister Kishida, Secretary Yellen, Director General Okonjo-Iweala, dear Mr. Kempe, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you for your kind words, dear Ngozi. I'm always very happy to exchange ideas with you, not only because we are friends, but also because we share the same convictions on many issues. We are, for instance, both determined advocates of free trade. Free trade that has led to unprecedented economic growth and helped lift hundreds of millions of people in Africa, in Asia, and in Latin America out of poverty. That is why I share your conviction, Ngozi, that decoupling, reducing trade to just friends, or ever higher trade barriers are not the answer. On the contrary. You put it perfectly in your essay, Why the World Still Needs Trade, that was published in June and that I highly recommend. Deeper, deconcentrated and more diversified global supply chains offer a route to interdependence without over-dependence. And they offer a way in for countries and communities that have so far been excluded from global value chains. However, being free traders puts us into a category of species that seems to be increasingly endangered, even in its natural habitat here in the United States. So I'm glad to have you by my side as we work towards the preservation and recovery of that particular species. When I first learned that the Atlantic Council wanted to honor me with the Global Citizen Award, I was hesitant to accept. In my German hometown of Hamburg, there is a tradition that forbids citizens to accept decorations from foreign powers. The reason lies in the city's past. Hamburg was a free republic long before that became fashionable. Located between empires and kingdoms, all craving for power, staying free and independent of foreign influence was a survival strategy for a small city-state. To accept a decoration, so the tradition holds, meant placing oneself above others, which was not in line with the ideal of a society of equals trading with other independent cities and countries. Nevertheless, as the Global Citizen Award is clearly not a decoration, I'm very honored to accept it today. Because this award emphasizes precisely what I just said, that we strive for an interconnected world whose citizens cooperate with each other to protect our global common goods and to create growth in a way that benefits all. This belief is also embodied in the UN Charter. That Charter is the backbone of an international order of equals, equal in their sovereignty and equal in their duty not to violate the borders of their neighbors. President Zelensky, it is a privilege to receive this award together with you as the representative of the brave people of Ukraine. Your courage inspires us all, and the suffering of your people breaks our hearts. Russia's brutal war of aggression against Ukraine is being fought in Europe, but it is, at the same time, an attack against fundamental principles of our international order. That is why I called it a watershed moment, a Zeitenwende. There is a before and an after. In Germany, we overcame long-standing certainties. Second only to the United States, we are the biggest supporter of Ukraine economically in terms of humanitarian aid as well as military training and heavy weapons. We are investing more in our own security and defense and that of our friends and allies, for instance, by decisively increasing our military presence in the Baltic states. Within months, we have become independent from Russian energy. And last, but truly not least, Russia's war against Ukraine has also led to a historic deepening of our transatlantic alliance. I'm proud to say today our relations with the United States are stronger than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, Russia's war has failed utterly because of the courage of the Ukrainians and because of the unity of all those who stand for an international order of equals. But the suffering is not over. Russia continues its brutal aggression against the people of Ukraine and against the very foundation of international law. And that is why we, too, will continue steadfast in our support for Ukraine for as long as it takes. Dankeschön.